The main agenda today is I'll be talking about what is Fusion applications, what is Fusion architecture today, and tomorrow I will talk about what are the specific components that we are going to cover in all our technical sessions. So I have divided demo in two parts. And before begin with, let me introduce myself briefly again. So I have around 13 years of experience in the Fusion Oracle applications and Oracle Fusion applications. And I am in the Oracle Fusion applications for the past 4 years. And all my experience is in Oracle products and all the technical aspects of Oracle EBS and Oracle Fusion applications too. And coming to the functional part, my functional experience more into HR modules, HCM modules, and I have a little bit exposure into financial modules functionally. Okay, so let me start about today's session with agenda. So this agenda is be spanning across two sessions, today and tomorrow. And agenda is what is Fusion applications and what is Fusion application architecture, and what are the typical deployment options available in the Fusion applications, what is SaaS and PaaS and IaaS is cloud service as well. I will talk about those things. And we'll start with the Fusion applications. We'll begin with the Fusion applications, typically how the Fusion application implementations will start and from scratch, and how security works, and what are the inbound integrations I'm going to cover, what are the outbound integrations I'm going to cover, what are the typical Fusion reporting tools available with us, and how to extend and customize the Fusion applications, and how we can implement the Fusion user interface using application development framework, and how we can incorporate workflows in the Fusion applications. So this is a typical agenda for our demo sessions, and I'll be talking mainly overview of each and every individual element, and those details will be covered in the individual sessions. Okay, right. And yeah, if you have any questions, you can ask me. That's not a problem. And if I can clarify immediately, I will clarify it. Else I will take this question at the end of the session. Okay. So yes. So coming to this training, the way it happens is we will have the Fusion instance available throughout your training session. Throughout this 1 month or 2 months or 3 months. Basically, our training spans for 45 hours, and typically we won't be having training during the weekends, and all our training will be during the weekdays. And every day I'll be taking for 1 hour 30 minutes, and it takes around 30 days for us to complete the training. 30 working days typically. We have to consider that. It means it might span across around 1.5 months to 2 months. The complete course will get completed. Okay, and you will have the training URL with you all these 2 months, and you can practice as along we go. And we will be sharing the documentation, and we'll be sharing the training recordings as and when the session completes, and those things will be given to you for your training purposes. Okay, I will take more questions on this, and let me begin with the demo, and then at the end of it we can cover more on the training aspects. Okay, right. So what is Fusion applications today? So why it is so popular? So Fusion applications we can best describe as is built on open standard based platform. What do you mean by open standard based platform? It means the technology aspect, the platform of this Oracle Fusion is based on industrial standard technical components like Oracle Server, Oracle Service Oriented Architecture, Logic Server, JDeveloper, OBIEE, Oracle Business Intelligence Enterprise Edition, Web Center Portal, Web Center Content, Enterprise Manager, Identity Management. Based on these components, Oracle Fusion applications are built. What is each and individual component? I will talk about the individual components in my third or fourth slide. Wait till that point of time. So based on this technical components, Oracle Fusion applications are built. What are the use of this? As all these components are proved in their respective service. Example, service oriented architecture. Oracle SOA is a very powerful fusion middleware where actually it can integrate applications, all the fusion applications and all the components together basically. So it was proven middleware component. WebLogic server, it's a proven server where actually we can deploy any kind of Java application. JDeveloper is a proven integrated development environment where we can rapidly develop any Java applications or we can rapidly develop any SOA components. Oracle Business Intelligence Enterprise Edition is a powerful reporting tool, a visually rich analytical reporting tool where you can randomly create any kind of reports. And Web Center Portal where you can create internet portals or enterprise portals or enterprise websites using the Web Center Portal using drag and drop options and which dynamically works along with all these components. Web Center Content where we can manage the documentation. We can organize the documentation across the enterprise. The documentation can be multi-dimensional documentation or it can be standard documentation or any kind of documentations can be maintained using Web Center Content. And Enterprise Manager is the one which actually continues to monitor all the applications together and make sure all the components are healthy and all the components are working together and all the components are doesn't has any downtime like that. Okay, and identity management typically it will help beginning from the creation of user account to any employee to till accessing the proper permissions, accessing giving the user right access to the applications. When user terminates, make sure the account got deactivated. All the life cycle of the user accounts will be maintained by the identity management. So every component has its own features and all these things are together available in the Fusion middleware and all the Fusion applications are built on top of it. And that is the reason we were saying it is an open standards based platform which helps us to typically enable the quick configuration of any kind of user interface and any business processes or create any business objects and business logic. Basically, you can do it a quick configuration. And if you do the implementation once, some of the processes can be reused when in other applications. Basically, I will talk about that in a while, why I'm saying that. And it is very easy to maintain the applications because every component has their individual feature and every feature is already proved, which we can just plug in and plug out kind of mechanism we can follow for any of the applications. So it is a typical open standards based platform basically. And also it's built on the best business processes. What do you mean by that? When Oracle started implementing Fusion applications, Oracle has a legacy application, Oracle e-business suite, right? Along with that, what it did, Oracle also bought PeopleSoft, JD Edwards, Siebel, Oracle On Demand, the CRM. Oracle brought all these applications together and it took out the best of the processes from each and every individual application together, and based on all those best in processes, they have built the Fusion applications. That's the beauty of the Fusion. Basically, I mean, it's not necessarily people having a background of e-business suite can easily navigate around the Fusion applications. Not like that, because they took some features out of business suite, some out of PeopleSoft, some out of JD Edwards, some out of Siebel, some out of Oracle On Demand, and They have gone through thousands of the functional domains, functional expertises across various number of industries, and got the best of the processes, the functional processes together, and they have built the Fusion applications based on all these. That's why most of the processes will be very effective in the Fusion applications. That is one advantage. Another advantage, it has deployment options are varied number of options are there basically. So what do you mean by that? Typically, you can deploy the Fusion applications in the public cloud. I will talk about what is public cloud, what is private cloud, what is on-premise, what is hybrid in detail. But basically, the way we can deploy the Fusion applications has, you can deploy it in the public cloud in sense, which is a shared data center, because multiple clients can share the same application. That is called a public cloud. I will talk about that in detail. And a private cloud is, again, it resides in the cloud, but that application is only accessible to the respective client. It is not shareable. On-premise means it doesn't reside on the cloud, but reside on your company data center where you can deploy the Fusion applications. That is the on-premise. And hybrid means where you can deploy some part of your components in on-premise and some part of your applications into the cloud. That can be a public cloud or that can be a private cloud. That is called hybrid. So it has very number of deployment options given, and it again made Oracle Fusion so powerful that you can play around in whatever aspect you want. You can keep some components into your legacy e-business suite at PeopleSoft, and you can move some components to the Fusion applications, and you can make these two applications run together. That is called hybrid model. Okay, we'll talk about this in details. So these are the in an overview, these are the very powerful open standard based built-in best business processes and various deployment options made Fusion very effective, in other words. Okay, let us go further and see what is a Fusion architecture looks like. Okay, so in any application we have three components, right? We have front-end user interface, we have the application server, we have a database server. Take any application, we have these three components. And same thing I'm relating in the Fusion. Also, we have the front-end application. I would call it as Oracle Fusion applications product families. And the application server, I will just call it as a Fusion middleware. And database server, I will call it as Oracle database. It is like that. Now, Oracle Fusion application product families, what does it mean? Oracle Fusion applications means basically Oracle Fusion applications are nothing but, it's an ERP software, right? Where we have the functionalities available, ready-made available in that product, right? So Oracle has many product families spanned across the Fusion applications. Example, they have a human capital management product family. And they have we have enterprise resource planning product family. In the human capital management, they have many sub-products called global human resources, talent management, workforce rewards, workforce management, other modules. In enterprise resource planning, they have financials, revenue management, accounting hub, project financial management, project management, procurement, like that. So products are, what they did, they have given a multiple product families based on the domains. If it is HR domain, human capital management. If financial domain or procurement domain, they have called it as enterprise resource planning. If supply chain management domain has its own product families and it has own sub-products here. Similarly, enterprise performance management product family, where actually this enterprise project performance management keep tracking the status of the cloud applications, and it will predict the performance and provide the proper reporting and connect the entire organization basically. And we have a CRM sales, CRM customer experience, they call it as CX, and legacy system we used to call a CRM sales, and it has this marketing, engagement, sales, service, CPQ, various number of sub products. And also we have something called industry solutions. Along with this HR, finance, supply chain management, enterprise performance management, customer experience, we have something called industry solutions. What is this industry solutions? Industry solutions is basically when Oracle studied, every industry has its specific requirements. Automotive industry has its specific processes, along with HR, finance, HCM, which will span across every organization, but specific to industry, automotive, communications, consumer goods and retail. Those industries will have their individual functionalities, individual processes. What Oracle has done, Oracle came up with something called industry solutions, and it is also offering services to the respective industries. Apart from these horizontals which spans across the multiple domains, along with that, they have also given verticals where they can offer the solutions for automotive, healthcare, high technology, industrial manufacturing, like that. That is another thing which is really growing in the Fusion applications. And another beauty of it is called in Oracle Internet of Things. This is getting very powerful in the future. Basically, they use this Internet of Things, these applications delivers a world-class set of IoT applications, basically, where we can do the asset monitoring. Or production monitoring. Typically in that Internet of Things, what they will do, they will make use of machine learning, and they will make use of artificial intelligence. And with that, they're implementing that machine learning into the asset monitoring or production monitoring or the fleet monitoring or IoT connected network. Similar to the Google Glass, they came up with another thing in the Oracle by combining with Derky Glass, I guess. So where we can implement artificial intelligence or machine learning into the Fusion application. It is one new offering coming up nowadays. It's not fully developed, but it is keep growing. And another thing is adaptive intelligence applications. It is also very powerful, where we can do the predictive analysis. Because in the Fusion application, we have all the product families. Every product family will have its own data. If it is HR, where we can have the employees' information, right? Where we can hire the employees, we can promote the employees, we can evaluate the performance of the employees, we can do the career progression of the employees. We have a lot of data. With this data, what if we detect the future? Example, if we detect how the employee is good enough that he's going to stay in the company for the next 5 years, how about predicting the future? That predictive analysis can be done using the adaptive intelligent applications. They are actually working on this Oracle SaaS applications data, and also they can capture data from other third-party applications, maybe from LinkedIn or from Twitter or Facebook, combine the data together, and we can predict how the behavior of the employees, how good the employee is going to be staying in our company, something like that. So adaptive intelligence apps is given for HCM, and also it was given in the SCM and in other modules, but it is still growing actually. And for all these modules, they have two sub-modules common. Basically, one is functional setup manager, other one is analytics, dashboards, key performance indicators, and extensibility framework. What are these two? Functional setup manager is another good module out of the Fusion applications, which will be available for every product family. What it will do, this functional setup manager typically organizes how the implementation should begin with. Example, if you want to implement financials, where to begin with? What is the first step to start with? And what are the typical steps you have to do? We have to follow to do that implementation. And also for that steps, each step we can assign to some particular resource or employee or a contractor who is responsible to execute or implement that step. They make the implementation procedure very easy with the functional setup manager module, which actually helps us to do a clean implementation of the Fusion applications. We'll be talking about this in detail actually. And another thing is analytics, dashboards, and key performance indicators. What are these three? These three nothing but reporting. Every module, every product family will have the reporting brings along with that product family, where you can create a visual rich analytical reports, where you can create a dashboards, and where you can create the key performance indicator kind of reports. And also you will have a BA publisher where you can create a typical BA publisher reports. So all those reports will be available for each and every product family as part of this. And the last one is extensibility framework. Extensibility framework is nothing but where you can customize the page, where you can personalize the page as per your organization requirement. Okay, you can modify the page properties, and the modifications can be done. A user can have his own preference. Example, user can go ahead and modify what language the user wanted to see the data, or what is a time jump preferences like that. Or administrator can go and make sure this page should look different for United States, and this page should look different for the United Kingdom, or this page should look different for this division, something like that. So those extensibility is another framework is also available along with each and every product family. Basically, these are the list of product families which actually comes in along with the first front part of the user interface, basically where user can directly interact with. That is a product family. And every product family will have sub-product family. Example, human enterprise resource planning has financials, and financials will have its own products basically. So if you see enterprise resource planning has financials, and financials will have general ledgers, payable and assets, account receivables, collections, expenses. Similarly, project financial management, procurement, accounting hub, risk management, revenue management, project management. So every module has its own subproducts, and that subproducts also will have their own offerings. Okay. Similar for human capital management, they have a talent management. Under talent, they have recruiting and onboarding, performance, career and succession, learning, workforce reward, where do the payroll, compensation, benefits, sales compensation, like that. Similarly, work-life solutions is another new offering coming with the Fusion. It was not there in the legacy systems. So reputation management, my wellness, my volunteering, my competitions. So these are the different sub-offerings out of the sub-products basically. Okay, we have covered the product families. Let us go and see what is the next part, that is the Fusion middleware. Okay, so Fusion middleware, I would divide Fusion middleware has two things. Basically, one is Fusion middleware infrastructure components for Fusion applications, and second thing is Oracle Fusion middleware components. Why we have divided like this? The reason is, at the beginning, I have said Oracle Fusion is built on the open standards-based platform. When I say open standard-based platform, it has a large number of components available in the Fusion middleware. Does all those components are being used for the Fusion applications? Yes. And typically what happens is in the Fusion middleware, you can also deploy your own custom applications. If you buy the Fusion middleware, then what you can do, you can create your own custom applications and deploy it, and you can create your own databases, or you can have your own custom stuff on the pure Fusion middleware, along with Fusion middleware components for Fusion applications. Basically, that's why I have drawn a line between these two. Okay, anything in the Fusion middleware infrastructure components or Fusion applications, these things will belong to the Fusion applications only. Okay, these won't belong to your custom applications, right? So what does the Fusion middleware infrastructure components for Fusion applications? It means it is applicable only for the Fusion applications. It has three things. One is middleware extensions for Fusion applications. Other one is enterprise scheduler. Other one is enterprise crawl and search framework. Let us see what is this individually. Extensions for the applications. Extensions for the applications means if you have a Fusion application, if you have a page, on top of the page, as I was telling before, If I wanted to make sure the page is visible differently for UK and page is visible differently for United States, something like that, how I can do that? You can apply the same page, you can make it different for different countries using customization or personalization. You can do that, right? That customization or that a personalization will be stored here in the user interface shell. It is an extension to the existing application. That is why it's stored in the user interface shell. Okay, and additional fields. What happens with the Fusion application? As Fusion application has its own product families, every product family will have its own processes, and every processes will come with limited number of fields. Limited number of fields means that application will have let us say 100 tables, and each table has 100 columns, something like that. So those tables, those columns, those applications, everything Oracle will provide. Oracle will define the processes, how the general ledger should get created. Oracle defines the process. You have to follow the process. Or how an employee have to get hired. That process is defined in the human capital management product family. You have to go and follow what process Oracle has given. Along with that process, Oracle also offers a standard tables, standard columns. If you wanted to query for employee name, then typically you have to go to only one table, standard table given by the Oracle, some table X, go to the table, and you can query for employee name, right? So what I'm saying is Oracle will offer standard tables and standard columns. On top of it, if a customer has custom fields, okay, whatever Oracle fields are given, the standard fields, along with that, maybe that company is storing some additional data, and to store the additional data, we need additional fields. That additional fields are called flex fields. That flex field information it also comes under middleware extensions, basically. That is the reason all these extensions are coming under the Fusion middleware components for Fusion applications alone. Okay, that is number one. And number two, we have Oracle Enterprise Scheduler. Oracle Enterprise Scheduler, if someone is ABS background, it is nothing but the concurrent manager, or basically where this enterprise scheduler, using this, what you can do, you can define a job. A job means that job can be a PL SQL job, or that can be a Java job, or that can be a BA publisher report. It can be anything, or a shell script. And you want that job to run every day, or you want the job on a frequent basis, right? You want to find the job and schedule it and run it. And if there are multiple jobs are there, if the jobs has the dependencies, if you wanted to define the dependencies between those jobs, all those things can be done using the enterprise schedulers, basically where you can schedule the jobs, and it is very, very useful. And the last one is Oracle Enterprise Crawl and Search Framework. What does it do? So what does it do is, we have many product families in the Fusion applications, right? And we have many families. As example, let us say you wanted to do the terminate an employee. Example, I'm saying, or you wanted to create a general ledger. So typically, you should know where to go to do that task, right? You have to go to some screen. From there, you have to go to another screen. From there, you have to do that. But what Oracle is offering is, people who don't know where it is, then they can go to search screen and just they can type it saying that create general ledger, or hire employee, or create a lookup, or define value set. If you say like that, and what it will do, it will go and search. It has a search engine defined in the Fusion application. It go and search across all the product families wherever that kind of task is available, and it will bring that task in the search results. And if you click on that task, automatically you will go to that page and you can do your operations. That search mechanism is nothing but in your whole enterprise applications, crawl the enterprise and search for that and bring the data. And it is very, very powerful tool. And if you work on the Fusion applications, then you will be using this enterprise call and search framework very, very frequently. Basically, it is available in the setup and maintenance. I will show that anyways. And the Fusion middleware components. What are the Fusion middleware components? And these are very, very useful tools. Whatever we have discussed on the first slide, it has multiple components, which every component has its own advantage, basically. So, and again, in our trainings, we may not be covering each and every individual component. We will be covering maybe 2 or 3 of this in our whole training. And remaining of them, we may not be covering it, but I'm just talking about the individual component now.
Hey, so what are you're going to cover in the training, and like what specific components?
In the Fusion middleware components? In the Fusion middleware components,
as a part of technical.
Right. I'll be talking about application development framework. I'll be talking about Oracle Business Intelligence. I will talk about Oracle SOA. Especially, I will talk about BPM and Oracle Identity.
That's workflows, right?
Yes, that's true. Workflows.
Oracle. And are you going to help us developing a form page on the ADF and integrate this using the SOA, integrate and define the workflow and do the end-to-end process for the approvals?
Yes, we will be defining a page in the application development framework using JDeveloper integration development environment. And we will also be in the same JDeveloper, we will also be creating the workflows. We'll be doing that. And deploying that component into the Fusion applications, it depends upon the availability of the Fusion environment, because whatever licensing we have licensing for the SaaS Fusion instance, and sometimes usually get the PaaS Fusion instance, but we cannot guarantee the availability of PaaS Fusion instance, basically. So if we don't have that available, we will still be developing the application development framework in JDeveloper. We will still be executing it and still be seeing the results, but the deployment option cannot be guaranteed. That's the one thing.
So you mean you're going to show us the area of development locally?
Yes, that's true.
So what do you mean by you are not aware of, you're not sure of the availability?
So basically we have I will talk about the Fusion deployment options, and then we'll come back to this and talk about what I'm talking now. So once I cover the SaaS, PaaS, and IaaS models of the Fusion applications, then we will come back to the same topic and we'll tell you why I'm saying the unavailability. Okay. End of this session, I will talk about this thing again. Okay.
Okay.
Right. So these are the list of middleware components. What is available in the Fusion, basically. The first one is application development framework. What is this? This is an end-to-end Java Enterprise Edition framework that actually helps us to develop any Java-based application. So any page that you're seeing in the Fusion applications that is built using the application development framework. If you wanted to create any page in the Fusion applications, you have to do that using the application development framework. ADF has the MVC architecture, which I'll be covering it in detail. It will take around 3 to 4 classes for us to entirely on the application development framework, where we can create pages using a specified framework, and we can deploy that in the Fusion applications. And
sorry to interrupt again. So I want to clear one confusion. You keep saying deploying in Fusion application. Technically, that's not possible, right? We cannot deploy anything on SaaS, right?
Not in the SaaS.
You mean
PaaS we can do.
So you're talking about, when you say Fusion application deployment, you're talking about PaaS environment.
Yes. So yes, PaaS. I will clarify those doubts in a while. So okay, I'm talking about all those things in a while.
Okay. Thank you. Sorry.
Yeah. Right. So yeah. So don't worry about SaaS, PaaS, IaaS for now. Just understand the framework, and then we will slowly clarify all your doubts. So application development framework, where you can create your Java pages and where you can create your Fusion application specific pages and deploy in the Fusion applications. That's one thing. And Oracle Server Suite. Oracle Server Suite is actually, this is a very key component in the Fusion middleware. Basically, whatever applications you deploy, whatever applications you create, whatever components you have, someone has to coordinate with all those components together. It means if one application, one process happens, what is the next process? If that is completed, what is the next process? So the flow should be defined somewhere, right? That flow has to be defined somewhere. At the same time, someone has to define some business rules to define this process flow. And those things can be done using the Oracle Fusion Server Suite. Basically, Oracle Fusion Server Suite has many components. One component is BPEL, business process execution language, where actually you can define how what process you executed one after another, like that. And another component is something called Oracle. In the Oracle Server component, we have something called Oracle Service Bus, and it is nothing but a message broker where that can pass messages from one application to another application or one component to another component. So message communications between all the components can also be done within the Server Suite component called Oracle Service Bus. So these two things are very rarely used in the Oracle Server component. We have many other tools as well, something called B2B and business process monitoring notifications. We have many components in the Oracle Server Suite, but the main advantage of Oracle Server Suite is to define the process flow. If you have your own custom process flow, then what typically you need to do, you have defined that process flow component in the Oracle Server Suite. Once you define your own process component, we can say it as think of if it's a process flow, think of it as a workflow builder in the typical legacy applications, where you can define the workflows, right?
Can you go with an example what they do on Fusion using BPM, please?
Okay, so let us say if you wanted to, Oracle has its own product family, and that product families has its own processes, right? Let us say I want to create my own process. Example, once I hire an employee, then typically I should capture think of like that. I should capture the bank account details of the employee. That's the next process should get triggered. How would it get triggered? Once employee is hired, Oracle Fusion, whatever the features given out of the product family, it won't have any process to capture the bank details, but I want it. Client has a requirement that once hire is complete, once the employee record is saved in the database, immediately another process should trigger saying that capture the bank account details. What is that process? It should get notified to someone, or a form should be, or a link should be sent to that employee saying that, hey, click on this link and enter your bank details. Once that person entered the bank details, I don't want to save to database immediately. Immediately, I wanted to send that to a approval. I want to send it to approval to the manager saying that, hey, approve this bank details. Until unless your approval, we cannot commit to the database. After that person approves it, even I don't want to commit again immediately, I wanted to send it to the payroll team saying that, hey, make sure this bank account number is right, or bank routing number is right. If you want to define a process flow which is not given within the Fusion applications, how do you define that? How do you define the process flow? Where you can use the BPM suite in the server component to develop that. So that's what I'm saying. If some process which is not defined in the Fusion applications, and that is something you wanted to define on your own, you have to rely on this SOA. Or if you want to modify the existing flow, example, currently when a purchase order is created, we have Oracle is given out of the box functionality saying that if purchase order is created, approval should go to the manager. That is out of the box feature. And you want to modify that. You don't want to go to the manager, you want to go to someone else, maybe one level above the manager. Then that is called modification. That modification, you can go to the existing business process flow and modify it. Okay, so if you want to create a custom one, you have to create a brand new. And if you want to modify it, you can. There is some limitations for every process flow. We will be seeing it when we talk about that. So that's what it is. That process flow can be defined in this SOA suite using the BPM. Okay. And another thing is Oracle Identity Management. Oracle Identity Management is actually where we can identify any person. That person can be a supplier or a customer or an employee or any other party. We can identify it using the identifier management. What do you mean by identification? Means if you wanted to provide access to any system, any application. We have many applications in the Oracle Fusion. We have many product families, HCM, finance, or many product families. So which product family you have to give the access? Within that, which screens we have to give the access? So how to create the access, how to create the user account, how to define the permissions to the specific screens, how to define the permissions to specific data. So creation of the user account to access, giving the roles to the user and maintaining the user account. If that specific person becomes a manager, add additional access to the manager. So how we can define the security within the system, all those things, begin to creation of user account to terminating the user account, all these things can be done by using Oracle Identity Management. And this Oracle Identity Management has multiple subcomponents like Oracle Access Manager, Oracle Access Manager, and Oracle Identity Manager, and Oracle Internet Directory. We have three components available in the Oracle Identity Management. One is Oracle Access Manager. Typically, Oracle Access Manager provides a single sign-on authentication, authorization, and real-time session management and auditing. All those things can be done using this Oracle Access Manager. And we will be talking about that actually. We will be talking about how we can provide SSO authentication to the Fusion applications. And also, Oracle Identity Manager is actually user provisioning and administration solution, basically like how to create the user and how to update the user, how to delete the user, like that.
So it comes with the product now, or is it a separate license?
It comes with the product. Okay, so this identity management always comes along with whatever product family you buy it. Okay, so I will talk about the licensing in my 7th or 8th slide. And another thing, identity management is Oracle Internet Directory. It is nothing but LDAP. LDAP basically lightweight directory access protocol. So basically where the real information of any party, employee or a supplier or a customer will be stored. Basically, so that it is a database where the data will be stored of every individual user only for doing the authentication, basically. So that is other part in the Oracle Identity Management. We'll talk about the identity management when we talk about the security in detail. We will be taking around 4 to 5 classes completely on the security. Okay, and OBIE, Oracle Business Intelligence Enterprise Edition, the full form. It is actually a very powerful, visually rich analytical reporting tool. And if you have the proper licensing, you could able to get data from multiple parties, and you can have your own OLTP and OLAP systems and combine data together and can provide a visually rich analytical reports. Basically, it's a reporting tool. And it also has a BA publisher comes along with this, where you can create the pixel perfect reports. And Oracle Data Integrator. Oracle Data Integrator is another comprehensive data integration platform. Basically, if you want to integrate your Fusion applications with any other on-premise custom application or any other SaaS application or any other application, then typically Oracle Data Integrator is very useful. It is an ETL tool where you can move data between the multiple systems. It is an ODI, it's another component of a middleware. And Oracle Secure Enterprise Search, basically this Oracle Secure Enterprise Search works together with this search framework. This Secure Enterprise Search will have the real index creations of each and every component in the Fusion applications. Basically, this enterprise search will make this framework to work faster. So it will always reevaluate the data indexes and make sure whenever the search operation is performed, the operation will search the data and pull the data appropriately. So that's another component available here, and we can always enhance the secure enterprise search even for our custom applications along with these Fusion applications. That's another beauty of it. And WebLogic Server, any component, all these components are deployed on the WebLogic Server basically. And any of your custom applications, if you create any custom Java application using application development framework, or any custom applications, you have to deploy on the WebLogic Server. So it's Oracle WebLogic Server provides a platform for all these Java applications and SOA applications basically. Okay, and this Oracle Web Center portal, basically it is used to build a social applications or your enterprise portals or a collaborative community or social sites or any composite applications you can create using Web Center portal. Basically, in the Web Center portal, you can always refer the Fusion applications as well, because Fusion applications has something called deep links where we can use that and embed it in the Web Center portals, in your internet portals, and you can build a very visually rich web applications here. You can think of it's like a website, not a web application, it's a website where basically this website work with the Fusion applications and custom applications to bring the data. You can think of it like that. And Web Center content is basically where you can do your document management, your web content management, or your digital asset management, and you can record retention functionalities. So if you want to organize your company-wide data appropriately, then it is the place where Oracle offers this Web Center content, where you can go ahead and maintain your documentation here. And there's another thing called HTTP server and Oracle WebGate. These two things basically, if you have any web applications deployed in this Fusion applications, and if you wanted to access any web applications, then typically HTTP server is the one which will listen the request from the customer or from any other user, and it will listen the request and identify what is for the request is coming, and it will serve the request accordingly. So Oracle HTTP server is for that, and the Oracle WebGate basically it also works along with the HTTP server, but this WebGate used for the authentication. Before coming into the HTTP server, it will authenticate the user. This Oracle WebGate works with identity management and authenticates what kind of data user is accessing for, what kind of application user is accessing for, and based on that, it will forward the request to the HTTP server. That is the use of it. And there is Oracle Web Services Manager policy, because if you have, there are many web services defined in the Fusion applications, basically, because most of the interactions in the Fusion applications happens to the web services, and how to create the web service and how to consume the Fusion application web service, we'll be having that in a separate session in the application development framework. So those web services, if you want to consume any web services in the Fusion applications, then before consuming the web service, we have to follow certain policies. Basically, whatever request coming externally consume the web service, it should satisfy those security policies, and those security policies will be resided in this WSM policy manager, where actually you will write the policies to access any Fusion application page using web service, or you will write policies as per our company needs, and it will help us to avoid the security threats and security breaches. Actually, that is another advantage. So by writing the security policies here, you don't need to worry about your underlying application logic. All your policies will be written in this WSM policy manager, and it will take care of how the security should work. And the last one is WebLogic Communication Services. It is basically example to interact with the Fusion applications. You can interact to your browser, or you can send an SMS, or you send an email. Also interact with the Fusion application. Sometimes, example, if you want to approve a purchase order, you can approve it through email. When email comes to the Fusion applications, then typically what does it mean? That email is nothing but saying that, hey, this is approved, right? That workflow mailer, when it comes as approved, then automatically some logic should get executed in the Fusion applications. So if any kind of messaging, right, that messaging can be SMS or email or instant or voice message, all those things might do a same operation. So basically this WebLogic Communication Services has something called user messaging service. Basically what happens, it supports a simple and reliable way of integrating multiple channels into one kind of a request, basically. Similarly, for telephone calls, basically sometimes we can enable the automated phone calls. Every phone automated call has some request going to the application. And if you wanted to enable that, you can use the WebLogic Communication Service to configure those features. And also if you wanted to enable the communication between two parties from the Fusion applications automatically, then it is the place where you can do that messaging and communications. Basically, it's a little more basically DBA concept, but that is the use of this WebLogic Communication Services. Okay, and now we have this middleware components, and this middleware components, there is one process basically which will keep monitoring continuously about the status of each and every individual component. So whether they're talking to each other or not, or does the Fusion middleware components are interacting with the infrastructure components. So all these things can be monitored using Oracle Enterprise Manager Fusion Applications Control. It is nothing but a simple graphic user interface page where you can keep monitoring the status of each and every individual component. For some reason, if some component is not working or delaying the process or going down, then automatically this enterprise manager sends alerts based on our configurations, basically. Okay, right. So this is a middleware, and the last one. So yeah, this enterprise manager communicates with everyone, basically. And the next one is Fusion database schemas. So Fusion database schemas, we have two kinds of database schemas. One is Fusion application schema, and other one is Fusion middleware schemas. What are these two? So same thing. Anything specific to Fusion applications go to Fusion application schema, and anything specific to Fusion middleware go to Fusion middleware schemas. Basically, as I said, if you have Fusion middleware, you can create your own custom application. You can deploy your own custom application. You can create your own processes. You can create your own SOA components, right? So in those cases, all those things will go into the Fusion middleware schemas along with Fusion middleware components. In the Fusion application schemas, typically where we store all our product family specific tables and views, basically. Okay, we have two database schemas available in the Fusion. Now let's try to integrate all these three things together. We have product families, we have the middleware.
What is the Oracle Integration Cloud and what Java Cloud Services? Is not the part of the custom technical component?
That is, I will talk about that when I talk about PaaS model.
Okay.
Okay. Next couple of slides, we will be talking about that in detail. Okay.
Okay.
And this database server. So all these three things are available, and all this, the status of each and every component will also be still monitored by the enterprise manager Fusion applications. So we have Oracle Enterprise Manager database control, which will monitor the database status. And we have Oracle Enterprise Manager cloud control, which will monitor the status across all these components, in sense whether these two things are talking together or not, or product family and database talking together or not, or middleware and database talking together or not. All those statuses will be keep checking with enterprise manager. It is again, as I said, it's a different GUI user interface where you can keep monitoring the status of this communication. Okay, and I just demonstrated, I mean, I was about to show you the same thing. Basically, in the real way, it will show up like this. Basically, the middleware, whatever I say middleware, this middleware typically go into web tier and middle tier, and data tier is where we have database, and client means where typically user logs into the Fusion applications, either through any browser, either Chrome or IE or whatever. User logs to a web browser, and typically when the person logs in, based on the request, typically web tier will take that request, what page you are trying to. If more number of people are trying to access, we have load balancer, which will make sure the load is properly balanced across all the customer requests or all the users. And typically it will go to the web gateway, and HTTP server listens what request it is requesting for. It will talk to WebLogic server, and WebLogic server sends the data back to the HTTP server and will get back to the client application. But when HTTP server sends the request, basically this user might asking for maybe creating some employee. It means what it should do, it should trigger create employee program basically. Then how does it do? WebLogic server typically takes that and identify what component it's looking for. If it's looking for application or product family, it will go to the product family. Or if it is a workflow, it will go to the SOA suite. If it is a report, it will go to the OBIE. Or sometimes we can go here and define the data integration. So typically this WebLogic server where all these products will be hosted, and these things will be talking together using the WebLogic server basically. And the same thing, if employee is created, if the data has to be get from database, we'll interact with the database and get it. And think of another case, if employee logs in, you should get authenticated, right? Similarly, HTTP server will say that some user logged in, make sure this person is authenticated. Then typically WebLogic server will talk to this identity management, and identity management will talk to the LDAP server and will make sure that person has a proper authentication, and it will make the user to log in. Once log in, whatever operation will perform, it will go have to and fro operations like this. And similarly, if you create your own custom application, and if you deploy the custom application into the WebLogic server, then typically in that custom application or in your own application, you wanted to refer data which is available in the remote server. Okay, so if you want to, similarly in the reporting tool, you wanted to pull some data from your remote server. Typically what happens, if you have the proper licensing defined, then typically you can have your own data in your remote server or your own applications in the remote servers, and still you could able to use Fusion middleware component to interact with your remote applications and remote servers to use any of these tools. You can use any of these tools to pull data or interact with the remote servers and remote applications, and also interact with the Fusion product families, and combine those two things together to build your own applications. I'm just giving a simple example here. And to monitor the WebLogic server status, we have something called WebLogic Server Administration Console, where you can deploy your applications, where you can see the status of the applications. And we have something called WebLogic Server Script, where actually it's more of web tier part, where you can define the mapping between the WebLogic server and application components basically. It's just an example how the architecture should look like. I mean, just memorize it. I mean, just to understand, so that whenever you come across any issue, then you should know which component is residing at what part. Okay, right. Let's go further. So let's start looking at deployment options. Till now we have talked about architecture, and we spoke about middleware components. Now let us see the deployment options, how we can deploy the Fusion applications into our instance. Basically, we have three kinds of deployment options. Means once you have the Fusion application product, where you can keep it. Basically, Fusion application, nothing but think of Fusion application is like a software, and where do you want to keep that? That is called deployment. And we have three kinds of deployment options given by the Oracle. Something called public cloud. What is mean public cloud? Public cloud, nothing but we have a data center which will be maintaining by the Oracle, and in that data center, an application will be deployed. And company A, company B, company C, company D, and company E, all these companies will keep accessing data from this data center. All these companies will start accessing data from this data center. As all these people are sharing the same application, that is being called as public cloud. What happens if everyone share the same application? Think of a Gmail. Gmail is an application. If I log into my Gmail account, I could see my emails. And if some person X logs into Gmail account, that person can see the data of person X, right? But application is same application, but every user can see their own data. Now, what is the problem with that? Now, for the Gmail account, for the Gmail, when I'm sending an email, I want to define a process that when I send an email, before sending email to some person, maybe I want that email to go to another person for approval. Think of like that. I wanted to modify the process. So in that case, can I do in Gmail account? I can't do, because that Gmail application is standard and I cannot tweak the process of the Gmail application, because that is being shared. If for some reason, if Google modify that process flow, then every user who access Gmail, everyone will have the same process get applied. It means I cannot do any changes in this public data cloud. Whatever public cloud, whatever application I'm accessing, I have to use as it is. I cannot do any additional changes. In the public cloud, that is the disadvantage. You cannot do any changes here, and whatever is being offered out of the box, you have to use that. What is the advantage? Advantage is you no need to have your own hardware setup, and you no need to maintain the application, because what Oracle is deploying the application in the data center. Oracle will apply the patches, Oracle will do the upgrades, Oracle will maintain this data center, and for some reason, if application is going slow, then Oracle will come and make sure that application runs faster. So at company A, you no need to rely on the network team, you don't need to rely on your own DBA team, you don't rely on your anyone. Everything is being maintained and handled by the Oracle itself, because it is being maintained and shared by the Oracle company itself. So in the public cloud, typically that's the thing. Whatever comes with the advantage is it less maintenance, but the problem is whatever coming out of the box, you have to use it. You cannot modify it. That is the public cloud. What is the private cloud? Private cloud is where maybe company A don't want the application to be shared across everyone, and company A, whatever in yellow color, want to access the data center for themselves. They don't want to give it to anyone else. Or company A want to tweak some process. If the process is tweaked, then automatically all these customers are getting impacted. That is the reason what company A says, okay, give me my own data center and I will tweak my process and it will affect for me only, so that only I can see it. Or company A will come and say, I am more concerned about data security. I don't want my application to be accessed by everyone. I'm concerning about data security. I want the data center to me alone. So in any of these cases, then what this company A can request a separate data center for company A alone, that is called private cloud. And still, as it is a private cloud, it is still maintained by the Oracle. And if any patches applied, Oracle will do the patches. Any upgradations, Oracle will do the upgrade. So all these things will be still done by the Oracle, right? That is the private cloud. Now, data center on-premise. In data center on-premise, what do you mean? You will say that even I don't want to maintain in the cloud, give me the Fusion application product, give me the software. And also let me know what infrastructure is needed to install that software. If I don't have the infrastructure, you provide me the infrastructure. I will buy the infrastructure from you. I will take the infrastructure. I will have my own DBAs. I will have my own network team, and I will deploy that infrastructure. I will have the infrastructure in my own company, and I will deploy the Fusion applications there. That is called data center on-premise. What is the advantage of it? Here you will have full control on everything. Whenever you wanted to do the service, whenever you want to do anything on your data center, you can do it in order to rely on the Oracle. And also in this case, you can tweak the process like anything. You can modify as much as you want. The disadvantage here is you are responsible to apply any patches. You are responsible to do the upgrades. You are responsible to keep monitoring the status of each and every application, and you are responsible for the security. But in these two cases, Oracle is maintaining the data center. So Oracle is responsible to apply the patches, upgrades, monitoring the application, securing the application. Oracle will take that burden. So we have three different options of cloud deployment: public cloud, private cloud, and on-premise cloud. And we have one more called hybrid cloud. Hybrid cloud means I will maintain some data on my on-premise, some applications on my on-premise, and some applications on my cloud. That can be a public cloud or private cloud. That is called hybrid. That is called fourth options. So we have varying options are available. Based on these deployment options, Oracle categorize the offerings in three ways. That is called SaaS, PaaS, and IaaS. SaaS is software as application, software as service, software as a service, platform as a service, infrastructure as a service. Think of like that. My software package is here. What is my software package? The legend here, blue means it is managed by me, red means managed by the vendor or Oracle, think like that. In my software package, all these components are managed by me. Think of that. You didn't go to the Fusion yet, and you have your own application in your own company. Then you are responsible for your application. You are responsible for your database, runtime, middleware, operating system, virtualization, all this hardware, right? You decided to go to the cloud. So you decide what offering, what model you wanted to go. You may think I want to go in the SaaS model. SaaS model means whatever is given, just take it. Whatever is the features, whatever is the processes are coming out of the box, just take it, like a Gmail. So in that case, you are just relying completely on the Oracle. Everything is managed by the Oracle. You are just using this and you are maintaining it. Okay. Now, I want to tweak my application. My application, I don't want to have your application. Maybe I want to modify it, or I want to create my own. Along with this application, I want to have my own custom application in the cloud. Okay. So, or I want to modify the application process, or I need access to database where I can create my own PL/SQL programs or own custom tables like that. So in that case, you might need access to application and database. So in that case, then what happens? You're still relying on the Oracle. Oracle will maintain all the hardware. Oracle will maintain the middleware. Oracle will maintain the runtime. Only thing is you wanted to tweak your application and database. That is the reason you want these two things to be tweaked. So it means you want to manage these two things basically, and you're still relying on the Oracle for all these things. In this case, it will become as a platform. You are looking for you're asking for a platform basically. You are asking for a place where you can create your own custom application, where you can create your own custom database components, or where you want to modify the existing application, something like that. In that case, typically you are responsible for application and data, and all the remaining things are still responsible by the Oracle, right? And next thing, basically, what you are saying, give me the whole software product. Till here, it is a software product, okay? And I will deploy this software product in my own on-premise. But to do it in on-premise, I need a data center. Data center, nothing but infrastructure. How do I get the infrastructure? Typically, you will buy the infrastructure from Oracle. Whatever this infrastructure hardware components are there, you will buy it from Oracle. You will buy it from Oracle, and all these components you will deploy it. All these components you will deploy it in the Fusion. You deploy it on your data center, and you will tweak everything of it. You are responsible to maintain all these things. If there's any problem with the hardware, you can contact Oracle. Oracle will replace the hardware or fix the hardware, but remaining software thing, you are responsible for it. You have to apply the patches, you have to do the upgrades, you have to monitor middleware components and application components, and everything has to be done by yourself. That is managed by me. That is the infrastructure service model. So based on this, what Oracle has did for SaaS service, out of SaaS service, Oracle has given all these components as part of SaaS service. If you have a SaaS service, so what Oracle has given, because software service nothing but whatever is coming out of the box, just use it, right? So they have given human capital management. These are all the modules are coming out of the box. You can just buy it and use the processes. Same, what are the product families I had told you before, all those things will be coming out of the box. You can just buy the component and make use of it, run it, make it work. Okay, you can just use it just like that. As and when you got the product bought from the Oracle, it will keep running. Only thing you have to do some minimum configurations as per our customer needs, and make it work for the customer with the minimal configurations, and make it work for the customer. So these are the applications comes out of software as service, right? And now coming to the platform as service, basically what happens is, along with these applications, you want to have your own application in the cloud. You want to deploy your own application in the cloud. How can you make it happen? Or you want to define your own workflow process in the human resources. How can you make it happen? In that case, you can typically go for a platform as service. In the platform as service, what Oracle is doing, Oracle is dividing each service individually. If you want data management, or you want to create an application, or do you want to use Oracle platform as service to do the integration, enterprise application integration, or data integration, or reporting, what is the purpose for you to go for a platform as service model? Along with the SaaS applications, whatever Oracle is offering, along with that, what you are trying to achieve along with this. Maybe you think that I want a Fusion middleware component, Oracle data integrator, which using Oracle data integrator, I can get the data from my third-party application and integrate with the Fusion application. So I want a data integrator. That is my sole purpose. Then what you can do, you don't need to worry about all these things. Just get the data integration service from the Oracle. You just get the integration service from the Oracle. Or your requirement is, I want to create my own custom application. So what you want to create your own custom development. You want to create your own application development. In that case, forget about integration, forget about analytics, just by this application development service. It is called Java Cloud Service. Just by the JCS, Java Cloud Service, in that case, what you can do, you can create your own custom application development. So whatever you're trying to do, you are trying to do a Java development, or you want to create a NoSQL or big data development kind of stuff. So whatever purpose you wanted to, based on that, you can get the respective platform as service model. If you wanted, example, not only the development, example, you wanted to maintain your documents, then what you want a web center content manager. That is a middleware component where you can maintain your enterprise documentation. In that case, what you need to do, you don't want all the middleware components, you want only the Oracle Web Center content. Or you wanted to have your Oracle identity management, basically, which is used to create user account, to tell the termination of user account, giving access to the application. If you buy a SaaS application, typically what happens, if you buy a SaaS application, we get the identity management. But what do the identity management will do? It will give only access to these applications. What if I wanted to implement that user creation to user termination to user security to my custom application, or some application which is available in my company, example? For that, to implement the security to my custom application, you can rely on the identity management, basically identity cloud. You can buy the identity cloud alone to implement security in your company, example. Not only to the Fusion applications, you want to implement it for your company as well. In that case, you can buy this identity cloud. So what Oracle did, Oracle has given these many services, basically. What you can do, you can buy whatever service you like to. Do you want to do it for integration? Within the integration, you want to do the data integration or IoT or a process automation, what you are trying to do. Within that, you can buy the respective component and make it work within the Fusion applications, basically. If you want to go with Java application development, are you looking for Java application development, and you can buy this Java Cloud Service and make it work in the Fusion. Using the Java Cloud Service, you can create your own applications and deploy it in the Fusion application. Or do you want to implement blockchain? Then what you can do, you can buy this blockchain component out of the Fusion applications and implement blockchain in the Fusion middleware. Basically, there you can refer the data from the Fusion product families, or you can refer data from their custom application and implement blockchain. So you want to implement mobile and chatbots. Maybe chatbots are nothing but where you can, using artificial intelligence, you can, using machine learning, you can interact with the Fusion application or interact with any application from your mobile, basically, using SMS messages. So if you want to implement that mobile features and chatbots, then buy this service alone and do the development. So typically what Oracle did within platform of service, they have given services for each and every individual. Okay, along with the product family, you get that, you get the feature, but the problem there is it has a limited options. What are the limited options? We'll be covering each and every component in each and every of our sessions. Whatever the out-of-the-box product is offering the SaaS model, and if you want to extend that, then we have to rely on this PaaS model, basically. Example, one good example is if you use a BI analytics in OBIE, if you use the Fusion SaaS model, a product family, then typically you can query the data only in the product family. Example, if I have a license for the Fusion Human Capital Management, what I can do, I can only query the data out of the Human Capital Management, but I cannot query the data from my on-premise e-business suite. I cannot do that. I cannot pull data from my e-business suite using business analytics if I am in a SaaS model. In that case, what I need to do, I have to go to this platform and buy this business analytics so that I can query data from anywhere in the world, basically. So there, basically, we have to buy the business analytics from the platform as a service components from the Fusion. Okay, so yeah, it's already I think we are 1 hour 30 minutes. So what I will do, I will hold off here and I'll continue with the remaining concepts tomorrow, and then we can finish up the demo by tomorrow. And for now, I will take up the questions if you have anything.
Hey, I have one question. So this is going to be SCM technical, right?
Yes. No, not SCM technical. It is actually Fusion technical.
Fusion technical. So what all things you're going to cover, and in which area you're going to cover? For example, you say.
Example, if I cover about security, right? How do we define security in the Fusion applications? So we'll be taking examples, some examples from HCM module, some example from financials module, some example from sales module, and we define the roles and define the data security policies.
Are you going to cover the SCM data loaders, pay batch loaders, and OTPI?
Yes. So actually, I was about to talk upon what I'm going to cover.
That's for me, being a technical, for me, it's important because I'm looking something in the SaaS model, what technical topics you're going to cover in which areas so that I can get perfect and try for a job.
If you wanted to know quickly, basically, I will talk about this tomorrow again. So for this, so typically I'm going to talk about the security in the Fusion applications, the role-based access security, how the roles are defined. And I'll be talking about inbound integrations like spreadsheet data loader, file-based data import, HCM data loader, SOAP and REST web services, payroll batch loader, specialist data loaders. I'll be talking about each and every of these inbound integrations.
So you mean if inbound, for example, if I get the data of 100 employees, we are going to do that and load the 100 employees into the application?
Yes.
In the SaaS model?
This is HCM data loader is the one which will do that.
Yes. So you're going to show us that? Or is that you're going to go only the high level of exactly?
No. Nothing is high level. So with my training, when I say 45 days, each day is 1 hour 30 minutes. We will be covering each and everything with examples.
Yeah, that's what I'm looking for. I mean, like, you can show us, open it, enter the data, and show it on the system.
So nothing is theoretical. Nothing is theoretical. Everything is practical. So I can give reference to my old batchmates. Whoever.
No, it's not about the reference, my friend. I mean, like, it's better to be clear enough so that you and me, we are on the same path. It's not about, It's not about the sharing the money or knowledge. It's about the timing, right? I don't want to spend 40 days and I just don't want to skip it off.
Absolutely. So yes, as I said, and everything will be practical. In my every training, if I talk 15-20 minutes, the remaining 1 hour will be in the practical only. So
I have one question. Hello.
And
in which model is the more technical? Is there either SaaS or PaaS?
So if it's more technical, it will be in the PaaS, basically platform as service.
Okay.
But if you wanted to go with the real, I mean, as of now in industry, 90% implementations are in the SaaS model. So very limited implementations are in the PaaS model because SaaS model is serving whatever is needed for any organization, basically. So in my training, basically, I'll be covering 95% of SaaS model concepts. And with my training, basically, anyone can do any technical work in the Fusion applications. So,
but what about the technical person role in that Fusion application?
Example, if they wanted to do the inbound integrations, like loading the data into the Fusion applications, similarly, pulling the data out of the Fusion applications to any third-party customers or third-party vendors or to a custom applications. Any inbound and outbound integrations can be done by the technical person only. And similarly, if you want to develop any reports out of the Fusion applications, either a BA reports or OTBI reports or any financial reporting center, again, they can be done by the technical person only. Similarly, if you want to define any security in the Fusion applications, defining the security roles, defining the data access to the Fusion applications, all the security can also be done by the technical person. And if you want to do the personalizations and customizations on the Fusion applications, up to some level, functional person can do, but beyond certain level, then again, it's a technical person to do that level of customizations over the screen.
So what all we are talking
Same as
now
like
is
EBS
all
technical developer, right?
Okay, EBS, what is that?
Same as like that EBS technical developer.
Yeah, absolutely, yes.
Why? Because in the market, there is in the SaaS model, there is no technical parts, but everything is the maintained by the Oracle Corporation. That's why
No. They will maintain it, but how do you, if you start implementing any Fusion application implementation, you should have your customer data into the cloud, right? How do you load it? Similarly, once you have the application implemented, that cloud application has to feed data to your on-premise applications, that has to send data to your banks or your benefit vendors or to anyone, right? Or your suppliers, customers. How do you do the interaction?
According to the market wise, all opening search market wise, they are developing reports, they are developing inbound and outbound either like that SCM, HCM module wise. But how we can justify that technical developer is required for Fusion application?
So same thing you said, right? Inbound, outbound integration. So when you say the integration, so typically that cannot be done. I mean, it's not like a switch on, switching on, switching off. It needs enough implementation to pull out the data. Example, if you want to automate the inbound and outbound integrations between the Fusion applications and your example, think of your company has your custom applications in a .NET example, and these two systems should talk together every day. How do you make it happen? Oracle won't provide out of the box feature just to talk to the other systems just like that.
Okay.
Right? To do that, to do the integration between the two systems, to automatic integration between those two systems, you should have a proper implementation in place, basically. You should have a knowledge on the web services to talk to the Fusion applications. Similarly, your custom applications or .NET application should have ability to consume the web services from the Fusion applications. Similarly, to implement the security, basically, we should have enough knowledge around that SQL queries, basically. So there are many places where we can do, and also if you go further, if you want to customize any page or if you want to deploy a new page in the Fusion applications, then you have to develop it using application development framework, which is completely Java based.
Middleware operations also is performed by the technical person. Any other middleware person is there?
No, that should be a technical person. So that when we are maintaining the application in the cloud, Oracle database administrators, Oracle network team will maintain that anyway. So in the private cloud, in the platform as service model, Oracle DBS or Oracle network team maintain the application. But if you wanted to create any middleware component, then it is a technical person responsibility to create that, basically. If you want to
Sova Suite, web services, WebLogic
services. Think of like creating a Java application, right? So once you create Java application, deploying the Java application into the Fusion applications or Fusion middleware is very easy. Just like a where we actually going to go to the WebLogic console and just keep the WAR file there and go next, you automatically deploy it. And for some reason it is not working, it will contact Oracle DBA. They will do it for us.
Okay, but according to the job portals, I observed also HCM technical person opening is there, SCM functional person is there, function opportunity. It's like that only, but there is no technical opportunities. But
so, guys, sorry to interrupt, but I think someone has to keep
yeah, please.
Yeah, please.
If you're not talking, can you please keep yourself in mute? I barely can
Yeah,
hear.
please.
Right. I kept
Please
you mute. So for your question, in the job portals, you are saying that you're not seeing much openings for the technical, but that is not right. The reason is, yes, previously, it will be 2-3 years back, yes, SaaS, everyone used to go with a SaaS model. It used to work. But now what happened, as SaaS model time is slowly going down, basically. The reason is, industry is enough matured with the SaaS model, and industry is enough matured what they can get out of the SaaS model. And now they wanted to go in a more automated way of doing the stuff, or they wanted to go with a rich analytics out of the Fusion applications, or they wanted to implement the mobile features, or they wanted to implement the adaptive intelligence. If we wanted to go into that perspective, then we should be thorough in the technical concepts of the Fusion applications. Whatever knowledge we had before, it's not enough. That's what I'm seeing the industry trends now. So we should be aware of the technical concepts behind that, and we should be strong in the fundamentals of the cloud technical aspects, which we are going to cover in our sessions. And that knowledge is good enough to begin implementing the mobile features, or to begin implementing the adaptive intelligence, or to begin implementing the Internet of Things, like that. Yes.
So I'm sorry to ask short. So you're going to cover the spreadsheet data loaders, FBDL, and SCM and payback loaders. Along with that, are you going to cover the OTBI?
Oh yeah, I think actually I was about to cover these things tomorrow, but let me.
I know. I'm curious. I'm like, what you're going to cover and what is going to come up.
Yeah.
So I'll just map to my knowledge, and I'll look myself. I'm like,
perfect. Okay, so let me quickly show what I'm going to cover.
Yes, please.
You get idea. Yeah, while it is opening up, yes, I'm going to cover OTBI, and I'm going to cover BA Publisher.
Okay.
I'm going to cover. Okay, so these are all the inbound integrations.
Okay.
And I'm going to cover BA Publisher, OTBI, SOAP and REST API services, HSM extracts. So they are going to be covered in the outbound integrations. Along with that, we are also be covering the financial reporting center. That is other thing. And coming to
actually,
sorry.
Yeah, I have one question. I'm a technical consultant. So means this ADF, then this reporting tool OPDI. So that are new for me. Okay. So means so it will help me to understand here practically in this question. I want to understand so that means I can capture this. So how it will be here in the training session, because I'm totally new for this.
Right. So in these training sessions, basically what I'm going to example, if you talk about OTBI. So what I'm going to talk about OTBI is I will talk about OTBI architecture, and I'll be talking about the fundamentals, and we will be looking about what components are there in OTBI. Example, let me show you how my PPTs will look like so that you'll get some idea. Example, if I'm going to start about inbound integrations, if I talk about HCM data loader, then typically what I will have a separate PPT for HCM data loader. And this HCM data loader, it's opening up. And this HCM data, that PPT will be covering the fundamentals first. And then with that fundamentals, we'll be creating a simple example. I'll talk about what is HCM data loader, what components we can load through HCM data loader, and what is the architecture behind that, and what are the typical instructions we have to follow, and then how to create a file, and what does the file contain, what does the syntax of each and everything, how do we insert, how do we update, and there are many use cases, how to retain the existing value. If null values are there, how to handle it, or how to load the lookups, or how to load the key flex fields, or what are the keys behind that. So we'll be going through each and everything. Basically, if only for HCM data loader, I have around 77 slides. and how do we automate it? How do we call the web services? How do we get the return? How do we get the web services output? So we'll be talking about all these things in each and every topic. I'm just showing HM data loader. Similarly, if you go to outbound integrations, if you go to reporting, within reporting OTBI, you will have a separate topic, separate thing for OTBI. And what is OTBI? What are the components are in OTBI? What are the typical users in the OTBI? What is the architecture and what components will be there? So everything will be covered basically. So, and we'll take them. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so this is theoretically, right? So means, are you going to show some practical example as well?
Yeah, of course. So
end-to-end, we can say, right? Suppose in Oracle apps, it is currently report development, from report development to the deployment step, right?
Right.
So same flow will be here in the Fusion.
Absolutely. So what I will do, if someone has time, you can share. Example, I'm opening my video, last class video, which I was telling. Basically, you will know what last class I was telling about personalizations. Basically, if you see the date is 5/29, that is yesterday. I'm just giving some, I'm opening some video which I have given demonstration before so that you will understand how my sessions will be. So,
hey, Lakshmi, while the video is running, can I access the other modules like finance and supply chain in your demo instance, or only the SCM?
It got stuck. So basically, if you see my yesterday's session, which is opening up, there you can see how my session will go. Basically, most of my sessions will be in the practical mode. If you say end to end, we are going to cover, so all my things will go in the Fusion application. See that? Everything is practical. So everything is practical. No theory will go off.
Did you providing any material for technical things like all data loaders, inbound, outbound operations?
So whatever I have shown this one, I'm going to share this PDF document.
PDF, all PDF documents?
Yes, all PDF documents I'm going to share. So this video which I was telling yesterday, everything will go practical. Theory will be first 15 minutes and remaining everything will be practical. Just to know how I'm teaching.
Okay, so video, you will share the video as well, right? Recordings?
Absolutely. So every day I will be sending the video to Ravi, our Rainbow Institute person. So he will be sharing, I'll be zipping the video like this, I will sending it basically.
Okay, yeah. Thanks.
Okay. Yeah, no problem.
Hi. Hello.
Lakshmi here. Yeah.
No, Ramesh here.
Ramesh,
currently I'm working as a Fusion finance functional consultant.
Okay.
I know SQL. Can I go for it for Fusion Technical? Is this sufficient to learn technical, or do we need any Java?
So to implement, so my sessions will be two things. One is specific to SaaS model. Other thing is specific to PaaS model. And in the SaaS model, 90% of the things can be done with the basic SQL knowledge. Remaining 10% of the things we need a Java knowledge basically. Example, this one file is there. How to automate some process. In that case, I will be trying to call the web service to get some output. So to call the web service, typically I follow the Java methodology. Basically, if you are comfortable calling the web services through PL SQL, you can do that. But my sessions will be more from Java side. For SaaS implementations, for your thing, 90% of work can be done with the basic SQL knowledge. And if you want to go more automations, you need the Java knowledge. So that's the thing.
Okay. XML don't require.
Not necessary. Not necessary. You can understand that. I will explain that one. Not a problem. So those things is not a problem.
Okay.
So there is a question from Nitin saying that apart from HCM model, can we access module like SCM and finance? Yes, you can access. You will have access to the Fusion instance where you can access any other module. And coming to the security and coming to the reporting, we will be talking about some examples from the finance and sales. So yes, we'll be having that. Yeah. So yeah. So
I have a few questions.
Yes,
so, yeah, I was just waiting for everybody to finish.
Okay.
So like, sorry, I joined late. I did not catch your name.
Lakshmi.
Yeah. Lakshmi, I don't believe. I've been researching a lot, so I don't remember. I might have spoken to you or somebody from your institute. So I have few things, just like somebody was talking earlier, right? I want to clarify a few things just so that we don't waste, anybody's time, right?
Absolutely, yes.
So here's what I'm looking. I come from a technical background. Like earlier, Ramesh was asking, he's a functional person. So for functional person, I don't think he needs to learn any technical things here. He's already good there, right? So anyways, my question is, I'm trying to do some things I've done in EBS. Few things are like pass extensions.
Okay. What you did in that?
Yeah. No. I'm saying I haven't done that, but what we did in EBS, right? It's all forms or reports, BIP reports or RDFs or so any extensions, it stays in EBS. Here it's a little different, but I don't have like 100% clarity on how things work and so I want somebody to train me and do these pass extensions,
So let us say for your question, I know this question will come. I have created a PPT for that.
Okay.
Here's example. How do we extend the SAS pages in the pass? Right? So example, let us think that you wanted standard Java application. Basically, you are using the SAS model. SAS model in sense, out of the box, what Oracle is offering to you, right? So it has that. And what you wanted to do, along with that out of the box product family, whatever you received, you wanted to create your own page or create your own page into the Fusion applications, or you wanted to extend the existing page and deploy it in the Fusion application. Think of like that. Extending the existing page is not possible. That's true. You cannot extend it, but you can replicate it. Whatever that page is doing, we can replicate it. How do you replicate it? As you have done enough research, maybe you might understand this. Using Java Cloud Service, if you want to create a page, you can use Java Cloud Service, and to pull the data out of the database of the Fusion product family, you cannot write a direct query to you cannot do direct insert or update into the Fusion standard tables. You have to use REST and SOAP connectivity to access the data in the SAS model. And then you can, whatever operation it is being performed in the Fusion application standard page, those operations can be replicated using test and REST SOAP connectivity in your Java Cloud Service using Java JDeveloper and create your standard Java application. And here, as you're using REST and SOAP connectivity, you will be using the out-of-the-box Fusion SAS look and feel or Fusion SAS database components and create your own Java pages. And if you have your own custom tables or custom flows, then you can have your own custom data and custom database schema. And these two things will be respect to database access and integration perspective. As you're deploying your application within the cloud, you will have the out-of-the-box integration with the SaaS application. And you can also use SSO, whatever you're using for the SaaS application, for your standard Java application page. If you use Java Cloud Service. If you are good in Apex, then even Apex as well, you can create your own application. Basically, it is more for database developers who is good in the SQL, PL, SQL. It has a low code. And basically using Apex as well, you can create your own custom page. It will have own custom look and feel. It won't be having the SaaS look and feel because it's not a Java application, and you can create your own custom applications. And here also, if you wanted to hit standard product family tables, you can use the SOAP REST connectivity via PL SQL to pull that data or update the data or insert the data, and you can do that using Apex.
Right. So yeah, that's little elaborate, but let me just break it down. Thanks for that. But like I was trying to explain, right? You already answered few of my questions. Like you are gonna go through ADFDIs and FBDIs and OTBI reports, BIP reports. So what topics within this? What modules or which product families are you going to cover?
So let us think of out of that, let us take a BA publisher reports. So if I take BA publisher reports, I'll be talking about data model, and I'll be talking about reports. Within the reports, I'll talk about report builder. I will talk about e-text templates. Within the e-text templates, position delimited, whatever the fundamental components are there, I'm going to cover all those components, which is typically needed for any product family. And out of that, if I create a e-text template, then I might be last session I have took example from the purchase orders, headers and lines, and I created the e-text template. And one example, the same BA publisher, when I showing the e-text position based template, I took it from HCM module and shown it. So similarly, if we talk about OTBI report, in OTBI we have different subject areas. So we have created around 8 to 9 reports. Out of that, 3 reports are from the sales, and 1 infolet is from the finance, and remaining 6 are from the HCM. It will be distributed. What I'll be typically doing, I'll be telling the use case, what I'm going to do, and I'll be developing that using that respective whatever the component it is.
Okay. So yeah, coming back to my previous question, right? So let's say if I understand right, let's say you have some integration, some interface developed, like in EBS, right? We have something, and we have some pre-processing custom programs which do some pre-processing. Let's say for loading invoices, AP or AR, you do some pre-processing, right? You do it somewhere, you get it from the outside system or some feeder, and you bring it somewhere, you stage them somewhere and do validations.
Correct.
Okay. Before dumping it to standard interface or loading it to EBS, you do some validation. So that's possible only through PaaS now, right?
Right.
So if I understand right, let me tell you what I understand, and let me ask you how you're gonna help me. Okay, how this course is gonna help me.
Sure.
So for us to do that, you will need some PaaS environment, PaaS extensions with WebLogic servers and everything. Hopefully, I am assuming it will be a Oracle WebLogic server.
Right, that's true.
Yeah, so you do this validation. So we bring everything, and so for that we will have to eventually develop some custom APIs, custom programs to do pre-validation. Like say auto invoice. For auto invoice, you do create a wrapper program. You do your validation and call the standard auto invoice.
Correct.
Right?
Correct. Yeah.
Same thing you do it here in PaaS. So while doing this, while trying to achieve this, you will have to eventually create some jobs in its concurrent program are called jobs here now, right?
Absolutely.
So you will have to create a jobs. So user have to submit this custom jobs or custom the job outputs, error outputs or error reports.
Correct.
So how can they view it, and how do they submit it? We'll have to do everything in PaaS, and you'll have to make them available or accessible in SaaS.
Exactly.
Right. So this whole thing, is this course going to cover that thing? This is what I'm looking for, a whole complete PaaS extension with like a home page login, and with multiple hyperlinks to different pages. This is what I'm looking for. I'm sorry, I'm like a very technical person.
No problem. So whatever you said, right? So, let me break it. Let me give me the answer in 2 ways. Okay. Number 1, you said that you want a placeholder to manipulate the data and load it into the Fusion applications, right? So you are saying that I want that placeholder to be in the cloud itself, where I can manipulate the data and call the program. Once the program returns something, if it errors out, then again modify my data and call the program again.
No, actually, I didn't exactly mean that. I don't think that's possible. But yeah, somewhere else, it's
okay. So if it is not a PaaS model, the same thing. What I will do, if it is same thing, if it is a PaaS model, sorry, in the SaaS model, okay. So think of like this. Yeah, I hope remaining people have some time. So
yeah, sorry everybody. I just had to ask these questions.
So think of like this. It is a fusion. Okay. So what I will be doing, what are you are saying? It's my custom application. Custom application. It's not PaaS. It is on-premise in my company data center. Okay. So what I'll be doing, I'll be creating a file. I'll be creating a file with my data. Okay. Let's say create a file. Okay. And send to cloud and submit the job, whatever concurrent job to load data. Okay, if it is a SaaS model, what typically I will do, I have web service to create this, to load this file. Once the file is there, send the file to the cloud. I will call a web service to send the file to the cloud. That is the first thing. Once the file is sent to the cloud will return a content ID or a file ID saying that it is the number with which we created this file. Then what I will do with that one, I will call one more web service saying that, hey, this is the file ID. With this, submit this job. Maybe the job is some load invoice, something. Submit this job for this file. Then it will submit a file job. Then what I will do, I will call another web service to get the status of the job. Status of the job or error records. So the two web services here. Status of the job is one web service. Error records is another web service. I will call these two web services. Status of the job. If the job is errored out, then pull the error records. I will call another web service for this. Based on the error records, I will modify the records. I will modify the records, and what I will do, I will follow the steps, these steps again. So if I could be able to do this in my custom application, why should I pay for the PaaS model? I'm just saying, this is one way. Okay. And second way.
But we don't get the database access, right? In the SaaS model.
Sorry?
To load the data into the custom. To load the data into the custom table or to access it.
And why do we need to load that? In this scenario, why do we need to load data in the custom table in the Fusion?
So how do you read the data?
How do we read the... So what I'm doing in my custom on-premise means I have my own database here.
Okay.
And I'm doing everything in my own database here. I'm just using this only to call whatever to send the file. Yeah.
Got you, like intermediate SOA database.
Yeah, exactly. I'm having my whole thing here, basically. I'm just consuming web services from Fusion. Okay.
Yeah.
Second case, what you are saying is if it's a platform as service, then typically what happens? So, okay, let me keep it like this. So typically what happens is you'll be having one more. You will create file somewhere, right? In your custom application, you will create a file. So let's say on-premise will create a file. Then what you will do next? You have to send the file to the cloud, to the PaaS model, right? So it is a PaaS. So what you need to do, you have to you have to send a file to PaaS model from here to this one. Then what PaaS model will do now? It has to send the file to the cloud again. What is the cloud here? It is a cloud. It is a SaaS model. You have to send the file to the SaaS. How it will send? For that, you should have the integration cloud service here, ICS. You should have licensing for that. Once you have the integration cloud service, then what it can do, this ICS can send file to this Fusion, and it will return. It will this ICS typically send cloud to the send file to the cloud, and ICS will submit the job, and once we get the status of the job, here actually we have to write a PL SQL job, PL SQL or Java, whatever. Our ICS also has some feature up to some flexibility is there, which it can handle the error records and do the operations. Java or PL SQL, what you do here, typically you will take the error records here, and again you will modify the records, and again do this operations. So what I'm saying is,
but how will you access these past jobs or
okay, so now the next question, once you create your jobs, right, we have something called, in the Fusion applications, we have something called custom enterprise scheduler service, where actually whatever, let me open that instance.
So does it have anything, is it related to something called third-party application integration?
No, it's not third party. So whenever you define anything in the past model, let's say you get to create PL SQL, right? Java PL SQL. Then typically what you need to do, typically you have to register that as a enterprise scheduler, like that. So using enterprise scheduler, what you will do, whatever job you created, right? That job you can register in the enterprise scheduler as a PL SQL job or whatever job, because it's in the cloud, right? It is available for the enterprise scheduler. Once you register in the enterprise scheduler, automatically you can schedule that and run it.
So when you say enterprise scheduler, that is available in SaaS. So even though you create something on the PaaS or some,
you can.
Okay, you'll have to you can register it in Fusion.
Yes,
okay.
Yes.
Got it.
You can do that. So
it's basically something like registering concurrent program.
Exactly. Yes. Yeah.
And pointing it to the, instead of pointing the form or a custom program in the custom
correct.
You're pointing it to PaaS.
Exactly. Not custom form. You can think of a custom report is ideal example.
Right. Yeah, I mean, I'm including the UIs also. You develop some UIs and deploy it on PaaS. You can access those UIs in Fusion.
Correct. Using some registration process. That's true.
This is what I was getting to. So you develop custom UIs. UIs eventually let you launch some jobs or something, right?
Yeah, we can have UI. Yeah, absolutely. In the UI, we can schedule. We can trigger another job. That's absolutely possible. Basically,
something similar to ESS jobs, schedule jobs, right? The UI you have to do in Fusion. We can develop something on the PaaS also, and you have can give that access, UI access, which is developed in PaaS in SaaS also. Can we do that?
Absolutely. So example, so you said that we have, so everything is through the web services here. That's what you have to understand. Okay. So example, I am going to, let's go to finance. In the finance, release 12. So if I go to SOAP web services for HCM, this example, okay. See, it is actually to load the file into the cloud. Typically, this is the web service you have to call, basically. Upload file to the ECM. Similar to that, to submit a concurrent job, we have another web service, basically, where actually you can submit a job. So typically, once you create a user interface using the application development framework or using Apex, typically in those pages, based on the button or based on something, typically behind the scenes, you have to call this web service. Then automatically ESS job of uploading file will happen. Yeah, go ahead.
So yeah, sorry, anything that you can do in Fusion, you can call those services or call those tasks from outside using a web service? And are we just looking at WSDL or web service calls, or any REST calls, REST API calls?
Both. We should refer REST as well, because
exactly
everything can't be done with SOAP.
Okay.
Everything can't be done with SOAP. So we'll be looking at some consuming REST services as well.
Okay, so this is where I lost you earlier. This is where I'm a little confused when you said we may or may not have PaaS access, right?
Okay,
so you're going to show us ADF development, maybe this UI extension development, and how, if we don't have a PaaS environment, how are we going to deploy it? Because I think development is very...
the same case, the previous case you said, right? I gave two answers. This is one way and it is other way. So we don't have access to ICS. So I can't show this way, but I'll be showing this way.
So this way, your own database, so it will be a Oracle database, but will it have, how about WebLogic server? Will it have WebLogic server too?
So WebLogic, why do we need WebLogic here?
How will you create UIs then?
Okay, so creating UI for, okay, so creating UI to send the file and submit the job?
Exactly. What if I want to do that? So that, for that, I'm just clarifying. So for that, we'll definitely need a PaaS environment, right?
Okay. So example, let us say in your case, in this example, whatever I want to send to the cloud, submit job, I thought I will do everything in my program. Basically, it is my initial understanding. Okay. Now let us say it's everything through backend program. That backend program can be PL SQL or Java or whatever.
Right.
Okay. Now what you wanted to say, you wanted to do this using the, instead of backend program, you want to do this operation from the user interface, right?
Exactly.
Now what I will do, this user interface, I will create a page. I can create the page. I can show that page creating in the ADF in my desktop using the JDeveloper, whatever I have. And once I create this ADF page, I will get a WAR file or jar file. Then what I will do, I will deploy that WAR file in my custom, my own company server. Okay. So when I click on the button, I want to upload the file. Example I'm saying. So let us say I'll quickly show you one good example so that you could be able to correlate.
Exactly the point. When you have a WAR or jar file, right? Doesn't it need a WebLogic server?
If it is, if it is within your company has WebLogic to deploy your Java applications, we need a WebLogic server. Your company has some other server where they deploy this WAR file, they can do that. Or they want to deploy in the Oracle EBS IAS server, they can do that. It's a company DBS and network team will take care of that one once you have the WAR file. So example, let me show you one quick example. You can to correlate what we are talking. So let us say it is a user interface. It is a user interface. You are saying that if I click on select file, I should be able to choose my file. And when I click on UCM, example I'm saying UCM, you are saying that automatically file should go to the cloud.
Respective UCM location.
Cloud, right? So think of like this. Then typically behind this UCM button, when I click on this button, I will call this web service. I will call this web service to where is this web service? I will call this web service behind the button. I will call this web service to upload the file to UCM. Then automatically it will upload the file to the UCM. So this example, it is this window is in my screen in my Fusion applications. So I have the WSDL file configured. Basically, like what exactly you said, that will be done using this interface actually. So I can select file, and when I click on UCM, it will internally call a web service.
Okay. How did you get to this UI? So this UI is accessible. What if I want to make this UI accessible from the Fusion itself? I don't want to log into multiple.
Okay. So if you wanted to maybe once you click on some button, you want to get that user interface.
Right here, yes.
Right.
Yeah.
So in that case, yes. So if you wanted to mean, it is nothing but you wanted to deploy, you wanted to make some application accessible from the Fusion.
Exactly.
So it has two options. One thing, that application should be available in the cloud, or that application should be, our company should make the application available in the public cloud. So what I mean, so I will develop this application, and typically that application will have a link, right? Probably. So
yes.
think of a link like this. So click on Customer Connect. It is going to this page, right? Think of like this. It's going to the page.
Yeah.
So I can create an icon here by giving a link to the application. And that application should be accessible for you from your access or from your computer or something like that. Then typically I could able to make it show like this. Or second thing is I need to deploy that application in the cloud basically. So in the cloud, it means wherever this application is residing, like a by a PaaS model, and deploy the application in that WebLogic server. But for our example, it may not be the ideal way. But in the example, let us say, think of like that, where you wanted to create your custom application, and that custom application is accessing the custom database which is in the cloud, or custom application, or something doing with the something in the PaaS model example. In the PaaS model, you have the database as service. I mean, you have a database purchased in the PaaS model because you want to have your own custom tables, or you want to have your own custom processes. In that case, if you're accessing some data from the custom tables, then your application should reside in the PaaS model. In that case, you have to create custom application in the Java or Apex and deploy it in that PaaS model and try accessing it. Then it is automatically available in this place. But our requirement is just to invoke an application which doesn't relate with the Fusion. Then typically I can create an icon here and give a link like this and make it work. I mean, I'm getting what I'm saying.
Yeah, I get it. Yeah, that's what I'm a little confused when you keep saying PaaS environment, but in PaaS, for us to have everything working, what are the components that we need? Like, I'm trying to understand, we need a WebLogic server which has like ICS and JCS.
Okay,
right?
So example, let us say you wanted to do some application development. Then you need Java Cloud Service. There is nothing but WebLogic server. You need that. Or you just wanted to use it for the business analytics. Maybe you wanted to pull data from multiple resources and create reports. Then you don't need a WebLogic server. All you need is OBIE license. So based on your need, basically. So if you want to create your own custom applications in the PaaS model, then typically you need the WebLogic server. So in the same, in our case, you don't want to deploy in your company. You don't want to spend infrastructure to deploy your program. You want infrastructure from Oracle itself. Then go and get the application development licensing, and you will get the WebLogic server, and they will maintain it. You can deploy your application there and make it running. So create the same application here. What our application here? Create the same application and go to the cloud and get the application development and deploy your application there. Then automatically we'll keep running because we got the infrastructure there.
All right, got it. Thank you. So I think you got an idea with all my questions, right? So with this thing in mind, with this thing as my requirement, so what is the scope of this your program or your curriculum? So how much will I be able to get out of your program?
So what you will be getting out of it is, as I said, we don't have ICS licensing in the PaaS model, ICS or application development licensing. So whatever the two ways we have seen here, and we won't be covering this scenario in the past model, but we'll be covering it from the custom application. That is from my computer. I'm going to show that. And once we have that, we can deploy it. We can deploy it in any server basically and make it happen. That is one way. And second thing is because whatever I learned, this is one scenario you was telling me. I mean, what you wanted to see. Second thing is reporting perspective or integrations perspective. We'll be seeing the both inbound, outbound integrations and reportings as well. But coming to the page development using ADF framework, we'll be creating the pages and we'll deploying the pages in the WebLogic server, which is again residing in the JDeveloper that is within my computer. And we'll be seeing how the ADF pages are working and how the process flows are working. But again, we are not deploying that ADF pages into the Fusion applications.
Lakshmi, I have a doubt.
Yeah.
In SaaS model, if I can customize any form, standard form, Oracle will give support or don't give support?
So in SaaS model, customization or personalization options are limited basically.
Yeah.
If you do that, basically what happens is if any issue happens, Oracle will save to identify what customization you have done, and Oracle will notify yours. This is the customization you have done, and that's why they are not going to support. But you have option to remove the customization immediately as and when they identify it for you. They do the identification. It's not like in EBS, if they see any customization is there, they will just say we are not touching it. But in the Fusion perspective, they will identify what customization you have done, and they will tell us if you remove the customization, they will take care of the issue. So
in PaaS model,
in the SaaS model,
PaaS
model, no, it's our responsibility. It's like EBS only. They won't even identify that. They will just say it is customized. It's our responsibility to take care of it. Because PaaS model application is owned by us.
Yeah.
So they won't look at it at all if it is any customizations is there. And again,
it
is very limited.
So you're going to cover the HCM extracts and pay batch loaders for sure, right? I mean, like a live example for the pay batch loaders.
Yes, we'll be covering the HCM extracts and pay batch loader both basically.
And do you also cover the fast formulas and
fast formulas? Basically, what I usually do once the session started, I will take count of how many are from what domains they are in. If I see most of them are from HCM domain or most of them are interested in too, then I will take care of the fast formulas, because if people are there from other domain, they won't like to listen that basically. So
yeah, I'm not only from HCM, I'm also from the supply chain and finance.
Yeah, it depends upon the people interest. Basically, I usually cover that.
Yeah, because I'm looking mainly for the HCM. That's my main role, because
okay.
Got trained in the functional as well, but Srinivas told me to join technical.
Yeah, because we have the fast formulas, we have the PPTs, everything is ready basically. So it depends upon the people's interest, how much
I could do some, but I was unable to run the pay batch.
Oh, you're not able to do the PBL? Okay. Yeah, we'll be seeing that.
I was unable to also run a quick paycheck for that. I don't know what. Then later on, I thought, okay, I'll hold it till I learn the fast formulas, and I was ignoring it.
Oh, really?
Okay. Starts.
Yeah. So yeah, let's take. I mean, once we start the sessions, let's take. You can attend. I mean, after tomorrow's demo, I'll be starting whenever we are announcing the batch, maybe next week sometime, I'll be taking the head count of how many people are interested in what topics. Based on that, I will formulate my use cases. So more people are there.
Tomorrow at what time demo session?
Same thing, same time.
Same demo link?
Same link, yeah.
Okay. I don't know how many people are from CST or IST. Is it possible to take 30 minutes prior to this time?
Okay, so 30 minutes prior to means it is 7 o'clock. It was started in the IST time. So you're saying 6:30?
Okay. Yeah, I'm from CST.
You're from CST? Okay, okay. And I'm from
I'm not
EST.
sure. It's not restricted. I don't know if majority is from IST. I'm okay.
Yeah, I will check out with Ravi. Let's see.
All right.
Lakshmi, hi, this is Varun.
Yes, Varun.
Just one small question. I would be like in future, I would be required to work on CDM. So will you be covering CDM as well, like integrations of CDM with other systems like Salesforce or IBM mainframes?
So what typically we get it, Varun, right? So interacting with other systems. So basically any interaction with this is one thing. So let me clarify this one. Whatever Fusion is providing the web services, we will be consuming them, but Fusion won't talk to the Salesforce. I mean in my examples, what I'm going to cover, I'm not going to talk to other applications directly from the Fusion. Talking means what? Like, let us say I will send a request to that Salesforce, and Salesforce gives a response back, and I can't catch in the Fusion because I don't have if I have a pass model, then there I can write, if I have in the pass model, I have a ICS, Integration Cloud Service licensing. Then what I can do the two-way interaction, like okay, same thing. If I have like this, then I will make this as Salesforce. Using pass model, I can do that. Else what I need to do, in place of the pass model, I have to make my custom application here. I can do this, but from SaaS to Salesforce, I mean, these things, it is from direct interaction not possible. We should have something between either pass or your custom application, something like that. And again, in my examples, I mean, I didn't cover this Salesforce integration anytime because maybe, I mean, I don't have instance access for the Salesforce. If we have some access, then we can replicate some scenario like this, integrating these two applications using the custom application. Custom application in sense, I will create something from my JDeveloper, and then I will integrate these two systems.
Okay. And for that, we need ICS as well. For custom application, we need ICS as well.
No, we don't need, because we are writing everything. We don't need this. Sorry. Custom application means I will write everything in my program to talk to both the systems. So maybe I will do what I will do. I will call. Sorry. So I will call some service in Salesforce, and the Salesforce returns something. Returns a file. Then I will send that file to cloud. Send the file to cloud. This cloud, and once send the file to the cloud and submit a job in the cloud to run some program, something like that. You understand what I'm saying? If we have ICS, right? So we don't need to write all this programming basically. Whatever program we have here, right? Basically, ICS is actually where it's actually very self-service kind of navigations. It's all about drag and drop kind of things. Without writing much programming, you can integrate these two systems automatically.
Okay, so will we be covering like ICS here in the session?
No, we are not covering that because we don't have licensing for ICS.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, we are not covering that.
All right, thank you.
Yeah.
But I'm sorry, just in case, because we are not going to touch ICS. So in that case, will we be able to like create that custom application in our demos?
Yes, so we can do that, but I can't guarantee that I can talk to the Salesforce. But I'll be creating custom application just to the first example. What I am saying, we'll be doing this anyway. Yeah. So we have enough examples for that, but I don't have anything for Salesforce.
Okay. All right. All right. Thank you so much.
No problem. Okay. So any more questions?
Lakshmi, this is Vinod.
Yes, Vinod.
I've listened to this is others questions, so it will be much informative. So, what are the prerequisite skills required for this training?
Prerequisites for this training, yeah, it depends upon what you are trying to learn. Basically, I would say if you are trying to learn, if you wanted to, example, because I have seen many people, right? So many people, different kinds of people will come. Some people will come to get job in the Fusion applications. Basically, they will concentrate more on the fundamentals of the SaaS models. Basically, how to do the inbound integration, how to do the outbound integration, how to create the report, how to create the security, how to create the workflows. Simple things, fundamentals. They will concentrate much to know about the fundamentals and start with any Fusion basic level of implementation. Little bit of SQL is good enough. But if you wanted to extend your arms into do better automations and a complete level of integrations, those cases typically we should have knowledge on the web services and Java. In those cases, if you have that knowledge, then you can able to do the full suite implementation. That's the two ways I would say. So in overall,
okay, so,
in my training, SQL, web services, and Java, if you have this knowledge, it will be easy to understand what I was saying.
Okay, you mean Java? Is it what level? Is it till?
Core Java is good. Core Java is good.
Good. Okay, because basically I'm not from like Java application development background, like all EBS and
right.
OAF and I've learned on ADF. So just
right.
clarifying with you like what level of Java knowledge is required for this.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, we won't be talking much on Java side. Basically, maybe on and off, maybe if in our whole 45 hours, I would say I'll be talking that I'll be doing some examples around that. Maybe around 2-3 hours maximum. That's it I will do. So, and also I will be talking, I'll be letting you all know what I'm doing basically. I won't just go like that. So I'll just give a little more fun about what I'm writing so that you will understand what I'm doing there. So nothing to worry on that.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah. Okay.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. We'll meet tomorrow. Yeah. Okay, then I'm disconnecting. I think no one has any other questions.
All right. Thanks, Lakshmi.
Thank you.